What does the Royal Opera House, KPMG, EY, BlackRock, PwC, and Queen Elizabeth II have in common? The answer: Carillion.
President, have you heard about Carillion?
No, I have not.
No.
Carillion? No.
You hear the word Carillion, what do you think of?
I think of Star Wars. They make, isn't that Carillion Shipyards or something where Han Solo was from?
Carillion. Isn't it a color?
Who is Carillion? They're the second largest construction company in the United Kingdom, and their fall was the largest of its decade. But what did they do? What were they involved in? They built things like these gardens. Schools, transit, hospitals, office buildings, apartments, and even prisons.
Hey, Caitlin, how it all started?
In the 1990s, the UK government started giving the construction projects for the schools and other companies to these private companies, and Carillion was one of the beneficiaries for this. And then Carillion started to grow really quickly, and by 2015 they had around 43,000 employees, and they just started reporting a lot of profits, even during recessions.
Construction is a risky business. Contracts are often fixed costs, meaning you can't prepare for unanticipated costs or delays that happen. It's not an intern lunch, you don't get reimbursed. But Carillion, they took risks to the next level.
But Caitlin, how it really happened?
Well, to understand what really happened, we're going to have to understand revenue recognition. Under IFRS, the construction revenues are normally recognized as a percentage of their estimated costs. But in Carillion's case, they underestimated these costs and experienced heavy losses. But they recognized profits instead, so that their stock prices would keep going up.
Okay, that makes sense. Management wants their bonuses. But how did they do that?
That's where the fraud comes in. Carillion would recognize revenue before the first brick was even laid and before the customer even signed the contract.
Hey guys, so let me understand. The revenue recognition was the fraud?
No, Shimrit. Carillion also actually understated their liabilities by $660 million by using a so-called early payments facility.
What is that?
These early payment facilities juiced up the cash flow to match the high profits. But in reality, almost none of the profits were coming from cash.
Hey guys, you look bored. Please tell me, that was it. That's all they did.
But wait, there's more.
Carillion hid its losses through loans through the bank and other entities. In 2016, it got so bad that the deficit for the employee pension plan was over $2 billion. Hey Shimra, you want to see what happened to their share?
Yes.
Pennies.
Carillion had $1.1 billion in impairments, and this was due to false revenue recognition. And a lot of people knew about this, a lot of companies, such as BlackRock.
Oh, yes. BlackRock, they had made over $102 million. And the worst part about this is this was because government officials and insiders knew about it so they could short the stock.
bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.
If you were to commit a fraud, how would you do it?
I wouldn't.
Oh, that's very responsible of you.
I steal 10 cents from a paycheck every month
Oh, perfect. How many paychecks?
until I get caught.
Oh, I don't know.
How would I commit fraud? Well, I wouldn't commit fraud.
How would I do it? I'd probably steal money from employee benefit plans.
No clue.
Stephanie's not here. You can answer.
I don't know.
How would I commit a fraud? Oh, lovely. The key to committing fraud is to get enough money that you can find a non-extradition country where you can live the rest of your life with the funds that you've taken.
Have you ever committed fraud, Martha?
No.
Okay, what do you think is the best way to prevent financial fraud?
It's about separation of duties. If you're a small business, the owner's got to be involved. If they're large enough, then they can separate it out. But it's ultimately the owner has to pay attention.
Okay, why do you think that auditors don't always catch fraud?
Because it's not their job to catch fraud.
As a direct result of the Carillion scandal, KPMG was sued for audit negligence by Carillion's liquidators for £1.3 billion, or $1.7 billion. This significant punishment will hopefully prevent some accounting fraud like this from occurring in the future. However, it may not be enough to completely eliminate it. There is a more effective deterrence from accounting fraud that is currently in the works in the UK, audit reform. As a result of the Carillion scandal, as well as other financial scandals that occurred around the same time, the UK government proposed a new audit regulator called the Audit Reporting and Governance Authority, or ARGA. This will replace the current regulator, the Financial Reporting Council, or FRC. If this regulation passes, ARGA will have the authority to reduce the Big Four's dominance by requiring larger companies to be audited at least partially by smaller auditors. Since 97% of the UK's FTSE 350 audits are conducted by one of the Big Four, it's clear how this new regulation will help both smaller audit companies and investors of those audited companies. Not surprisingly, this problem is not exclusive to the UK. In the US, 99% of the S&P 500 audits are conducted by one of the Big Four. Perhaps the US government should also consider audit reform. With the UK's audit reform, not only auditors, but also the directors of the audited companies will be more likely to perform their tasks ethically and responsibly. This is because the directors will know that the auditors will be more likely to give a negative opinion if they detect fraud. It is important to note that it is impossible to completely eliminate fraud. However, it is possible to reduce it by enforcing strict regulations to make it less appealing to companies and their auditors. Fraud will continue to occur until proper regulations are in place and enforced. In Carillion's case, the issue wasn't that the fraud was undetected. The problem was that it was detected and the auditors swept it under the rug and even contributed to it by forging documents and providing false information. Audit reform is paramount. Without it, financial fraud is guaranteed to continue.
Oh, when the shredder comes out, you're in trouble.
Who should I ask first?
You're on.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, hop over here.
And Tom.
Buses. No, transit.
Samantha.
I know. Who is Carillion? They're the second largest company in the United Kingdom. And they...
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you